All right, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges pretty much every company faces today. How do you get a clear signal from all the noise of your own data? We're going to break down exactly how a really solid data pipeline can take all that chaos and turn it into crystal clear clarity.
So let me ask you this. Is your company's data a real treasure chest full of gold and amazing insights? Or is it more like a junk drawer? You know the one, just crammed with random, disconnected stuff that's almost impossible to make any sense of. Sound a little too familiar?
The problem really starts with what I like to call the corporate data mess. See, your company's story isn't written in one single book. Oh no, it's more like it's spread across 100 different notebooks, all in different languages, and trying to read all of them at once to get a single clear picture, well, that's the massive challenge we have to solve. And this is where the chaos really begins. Data's coming at you from everywhere. You've got your big structured systems like your ERP and CRM. Then you've got data from cloud apps, from databases sitting on a server somewhere, and even just raw text in flat files. Every single source speaks its own language, has its own rules. And what you end up with is a bunch of data islands that don't talk to each other. So how in the world do we fix this? Well, the answer is to build a structured, kind of elegant data pipeline. The best way to think about it is like a super sophisticated package sorting facility, but for your information. It's designed specifically to bring order and serious efficiency to all that chaos. When you look at it from a high level, this data journey really just has two critical steps. First, we set up a secure staging area where all the raw data can land. And second, we use a really smart loading process to get it all integrated into its final home. So let's follow the data and see how it works. You know every package has to hit the loading dock first, right? Well, for our data, that first stop is the staging layer. And this is where the real work of creating order begins. So this staging layer works like a whole set of dedicated unloading bays. Data from your CRM doesn't get mixed up with data from your ERP at this point. Nope. Each source is kept in its own, totally isolated area. And that design choice is absolutely critical for making the whole system resilient. Because this whole architecture is built on one very, very important idea. Think about it. If one delivery truck shows up with a damaged package, you don't shut down the entire sorting facility, do you? The exact same logic applies right here. And here's how that resilience works in practice. Any piece of data that fails a quality check, maybe it's incomplete or it's just formatted wrong, it gets automatically pulled aside into what's called an error table, so someone can look at it. This means the main flow of good data just keeps on moving without any interruption. It's just like a quality control station that quarantines a problem part without stopping the whole assembly line. Okay, so once our data is all checked and validated in that staging area, it is finally ready for its final destination, the data warehouse. And this is the part where all that isolated information gets transformed into integrated, usable intelligence. This central warehouse is usually built as a dimensional model. All that clean, verified data isn't in silos anymore. It's now all integrated, it's organized around your actual business processes, and it's standardized. And that structure is what makes it so incredibly powerful and easy for your analysts to use. I mean, the transformation here is just profound. Look at the difference. On the left in the staging layer, you've just got raw, separate packets of information. But on the right in the data warehouse, you have a cohesive, reliable data set that's totally ready for analysis. You've literally turned noise into a clear signal. So you might be thinking, okay, that seems like a lot of work. What's the payoff for investing in this kind of architecture? Well, there are 5 huge benefits that make this whole approach a massive strategic advantage. Let's just count them down.
All right, let's break these down real quick. First, isolation. Since every source is staged separately, a failure in your CRM feed is never going to stop the data flowing from your ERP. Second, performance. Loading data in bulk is just dramatically faster. Third, and this is a big one, quality. You stop bad data right at the door before it can ever contaminate your analytics. Fourth, compliance. Every single step is logged, so you have a complete audit trail. And fifth, proactive monitoring. You can set up alerts to know the second something goes wrong, not hours later when it's already a problem.
But at the end of the day, the value of this system is so much more than just moving data around efficiently. It's really about a fundamental transformation of your business.
A pipeline that's designed this well takes your data from being a messy, unreliable liability and turns it into your company's most powerful, most trustworthy asset for making big decisions. You're not just moving data, you're literally creating clarity from chaos. And that really leaves us with one final thought. We all assume the answers we need are somewhere in our data. But the real question you have to ask is this: is your system actually built to let you ask the right questions in the first place? Thanks for joining us.